Could this be it? Could Daniel really be holding the lost Montana-era coin worth millions? He decided to have it examined. Carefully placing it in a soft plastic case, he drove several hours to the nearest coin convention in Denver. The convention hall buzzed with collectors and dealers from around the country. Tables were covered in silver dollars, ancient coins, and rare cents worth thousands. But when Daniel showed his Montana quarter to a professional grader, the expert froze. He adjusted his glasses, leaned closer, and turned the coin slowly in his hand. "Where did you get this?" the man asked, his voice trembling slightly. Daniel explained his story, his grandfather's drawer, the dusty pouch, the endless nights of curiosity. The grader called over 2 more experts, and soon, a small crowd formed around them. They whispered to each other, took turns inspecting the coin, and then looked back at Daniel with awe. "This," the first grader said, "is something we've only heard about in rumors. It's not just a mint error. It's one of the rarest modern coins in American history. You might want to sit down." Daniel's heart pounded. The grader continued. "This Montana quarter was struck on an experimental metal blend, one the mint tested for only a few hours before discontinuing. It was never supposed to leave the facility. Somehow, one coin did, and this is it." The room fell silent. People began taking pictures, murmuring about its value, its mystery, and the miracle that it had survived in perfect condition all these years. A few weeks later, after verification from the professional coin grading service, the news broke across the internet. Rare 2007. Montana quarter found, estimated worth $17 million. The story spread like wildfire. Every news outlet wanted an interview. Collectors from around the world called to make offers. The coin that once bought a piece of candy was now worth more than luxury cars, mansions, and entire businesses combined. People began scouring their own collections, searching every pocket. Coin dealers reported a surge in interest in the 2007 Montana quarters. Even regular ones, worth just 25 cents, began selling for a few dollars online. The legend of the rare Montana coin had reignited America's passion for collecting experts. Later explained that what made this coin so valuable wasn't just the error itself, but the mystery surrounding it. The Montana quarter was part of the 50 State Quarters program, one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. Each design celebrated a state's culture and heritage. And Montana's design, the bison skull and open land, symbolized strength and the endless frontier. Yet, out of hundreds of millions produced, this one coin had escaped normality. It represented chance, fate, and rarity in their purest forms. When collectors look for rare coins, they often chase after age, coins from the 1700s, 1800s, ancient civilizations. B. In the vast land of Montana, known for its endless skies and rugged beauty, there lies a legend not of mountains or cowboys, but of a tiny piece of metal that changed one man's life forever. It all began with an ordinary day, in a small town surrounded by rolling hills and the whispering wind. The morning sun poured over the open plains, and as people went about their day, no one could have guessed that a rare coin, a simple Montana quarter, would soon become the center of one of the most astonishing discoveries in coin history. The year was 2007, and the United States Mint had released a special quarter to honor the state of Montana. It featured a bison skull with proud horns, set against the outline of the state's open landscape. The words, "Big Sky Country," stood proudly beneath, capturing the spirit of freedom and wilderness that defines Montana. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, just like any other coin, used for coffee, groceries, parking meters, and countless little exchanges that people hardly noticed. But among those millions, there existed one, a single piece, that was unlike any other. Some say it was struck on the wrong metal. Others believe it was a prototype, created by mistake and never meant to be released. But what no one can deny is that this coin somehow escaped into the world. carrying a secret that would make it worth $17 million today. Our story follows a man named Daniel, an ordinary coin collector from Wyoming, who loved searching through change jars and old boxes for hidden treasures. Daniel wasn't rich. He didn't own fancy equipment or special tools. But he had passion, the kind that kept him up at night, sorting through coins by the dim light of his desk lamp. One cold evening, while cleaning out his grandfather's old drawer, he came across a small pouch filled with coins from the early 2000s. Most were common state quarters, nickels, dimes, nothing special. But as he brushed the dust off one particular coin, something caught his eye. The shine was unusual. It wasn't like the others. The metal looked brighter, more refined, almost as if it had been preserved perfectly through time. On the front, the coin bore the proud image of a bison skull, the Montana design from 2007. But when Daniel tilted it under the light, he noticed something even stranger. The edge of the coin was thicker on one side, and there was a tiny, almost invisible minting error near the date. His pulse quickened. He had studied enough coin books to know that small imperfections can sometimes mean huge value. He grabbed his magnifying glass and examined it closely. Montana, 1889. Big Sky Country. 2007. He whispered to himself. Everything looked normal, yet something about it didn't feel normal at all. It had a mysterious aura, as if it carried a story deeper than its design. Over the next few days, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the coin. He began researching online, diving into collector forums, real.
Have you ever checked the change in your pocket and wondered, could one of these coins actually make me rich? Well, hold on tight, because today we are talking about one of the most surprising discoveries in U.S. coin history, a 2001 Kentucky state quarter that's said to be worth an unbelievable $17 million. At first glance, this coin looks just like any other quarter you've ever used to buy a soda or pay for parking. But this specific piece of metal hides a story of mystery, rarity, and unimaginable value. The Kentucky quarter was released in 2001 as part of the U.S. Mint's famous 50-state quarters program. Each state got its own design, and for Kentucky, the design celebrated its proud horse-breeding heritage. The bidding started modestly, a few $1,000s. Then it jumped to $10,000, then $50,000, then $100,000. Within minutes, collectors from around the world were fighting for ownership of this mysterious quarter. And finally, when the hammer dropped, the final bid shocked everyone, $17 million. Worth just 25 cents, sold for the price of a luxury mansion. If you look closely at the coin, you'll see a beautiful horse standing behind a wooden fence, with a greenhouse in the background. That's my old Kentucky home. A famous landmark in the state's history. It's a simple, elegant design. But little did anyone know, one small minting error would turn an ordinary piece of change into one of the most valuable coins on the planet. The story begins when a collector in 2001 noticed something strange about a few Kentucky quarters. They looked slightly different. The metal surface had a unique shine. The edges were off, and the minting details were sharper than usual. At first, nobody paid much attention. After all, millions of Kentucky quarters were made, over 700 million, to be exact. So how could one possibly be special? But then, one day, a coin expert examining a batch under a microscope noticed something almost impossible. The horse on one coin was struck with an extra fine detail, and the word Kentucky appeared slightly doubled, a classic sign of a double die minting error. This discovery sparked a frenzy among collectors. People started searching through jars, drawers, and vending machines, hoping to find this legendary coin. But only one confirmed specimen of the flawless error was ever authenticated. It was graded by a professional coin service as MS-70, which means mint state perfect condition. That alone is incredibly rare, but the combination of a mint error, perfect condition, and the historic Kentucky design made it one of a kind. When it was first sold at a private auction, nobody expected what would happen next. But what makes this coin truly legendary isn't just its price. It's the story it tells about American history and craftsmanship. The Kentucky quarter represents more than just money. And here's the shocking part. Experts say there could still be a few of these rare Kentucky quarters out there. They might be sitting in someone's piggy bank, tucked away in an old drawer, or even lying forgotten in a jar of change. Just imagine, you could be holding a coin worth millions and not even know it. So the next time you get a 2001 Kentucky quarter, take a closer look. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next lucky person to discover another $1 million treasure. You might be wondering, why is it worth $17 million? It's not just about the era. It's about rareness plus demand plus condition plus story. Coin collectors love unique stories. And this coin has it all. A limited production era, perfect mint grade, and a mysterious history that no one can fully explain. Some experts believe it was part of a test batch created with a different metal composition, possibly silver, instead of the usual copper-nickel. Others think it might have been a special proof coin accidentally released into circulation. Whatever the truth is, it's the mystery that makes it priceless. Today, if you visit major coin shows in the United States, you'll hear collectors whispering about the Kentucky Millionaire Quarter. It's become a legend in numismatic circles, a symbol of how small details can create massive value. There are even stories of people spending years searching for it. One man reportedly went through over 1 million quarters before finally giving up. Another claims he found one but lost it before he could authenticate it. A heartbreaking tale that still haunts him to this day. But beyond the money, this story teaches us something powerful. Value can hide in the most ordinary things. Sometimes, it's not about how big or flashy something is. It's about the story it carries, the rarity it holds, and the eyes that recognize it. Every coin has a journey. Maybe it passed through hundreds of hands, bought coffee, rode in pockets, sat in machines, until one day, someone realized it was no ordinary coin at all. And that realization turned a simple piece of metal into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So, the next time you get change, don't rush to spend it. Hold each coin up to the light. Look at the year. Look at the design. Because maybe, just maybe, you're holding the next $17 million miracle. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. Who knows? Maybe you'll help someone realize they've been sitting on a fortune all along. And remember, sometimes history hides in plain sight, even in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching. And until next time, keep your eyes open, keep collecting, and keep believing that treasure can still be found.